Welcome back to part five of our best ball draft. This is Decades of Dominance with Sean and Joe. If you've been following this draft, you already know one quarterback, two running back, three wide receiver, one tight end, one defense, one kicker, and 20 total roster spots. In this part five, we're covering rounds 17 through 20. And to kick it off, in round 17 with the first pick, they took the Los Angeles Rams defense. In spot two, Buffalo place kicker Stephen Hauschka. Spot three, New England Patriots wide receiver, newly acquired Mohamed Sanu. Spot four, the Minnesota Vikings defense. Spot five, Denzel Mims. And Sean had spot six.
So I consider myself extremely lucky to be able to get Mike Gesicki here as my third tight end. When everybody's drafting kickers and defenses and stuff, I really like the way he rounds out my tight end group, and I have him like a coin flip with Dallas Goedert, who I took several rounds earlier.
Right. Gesicki was drafted very high. He's going to have a rookie quarterback, Tua, and Tua is going to be looking for outlets, looking for big targets. He could have a big year. He was excellent last year for a string of games. So, that's year three for him. Could see a big step forward. After Gesicki, Aldrick Rosas, Dustin Hopkins, both kickers. And I took a kicker here with the ninth spot in the 17th round. I took Ka'imi Fairbairn for Houston. Houston tends to score a lot. They also tend to struggle a little bit on converting touchdowns. I mean, they do convert touchdowns, but they don't always convert touchdowns. So 2 years ago, Fairbairn had, I think, the most kicks of over 50 yards in the league. So I felt good about that pick. John?
Yeah, I mean, he's a kicker. He's, in this pretty large group of tier of kickers that I would take. I don't have him as like one of the top, I guess you can call a kicker a stud kickers, but I have him just below that.
Yeah, he had a little bit of an off year last year too, so it's a question as to whether he can return to form. After him, Jason Myers, then Nyheim Hines, A.J. Dillon for the Green Bay Packers, Rashard Penny, Chase Edmonds. Did I go through? Yeah, I went through. Sorry. A.J. Dillon was the final pick in the 17th round after Nyheim Hines. I liked the picks that I liked in this round were your pick of Gesicki. I really liked Denzel Mims as well. And I thought Nyheim Hines isn't a bad pick because he's going to be catching a lot of passes for the Colts. In the 17th round, if he's more likely to steal thunder from the running backs. Those were my three picks that I like. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, other than my pick, Mims was definitely my favorite. He's probably got the most upside of all the Jet wide receivers, although I do think it'll be Jamison Crowder who ends up scoring the most points, especially in PPR. But you got to like Mims' upside at this point. Mohamed Sanu could be something in New England. He came there partway through last year in a trade. Who knows?
Sure. Round 18, as I started to say before, Rashad Penny goes in the first pick, then Chase Edmonds. And the guy that I was going to take went one pick before I was going to take him, Darrynton Evans for the Tennessee Titans. Since I had Henry, I wanted to get his handcuff, but I wasn't able to do it. So I took Zach Moss at the fourth pick in the 18th round, Buffalo running back, rookie, potentially the more talented of the two running back, and we cover him in our rookie video. He should get touchdowns this year. He's not going to get a lot of pass catches. Sean?
Yeah, I know it happened to me several times in the draft where the guy I was targeting literally went one pick right before I was about to take him. I know that's incredibly frustrating, but without Henry on your roster, Zach Moss is definitely the better pick of those two.
Right. I was fine to
Evans,
get Zach Moss.
yeah,
And
and
as
excellent
you
value
said,
at this point.
Right. I mean, Zach Moss is one injury away from being an RB1, and he's going to be a timeshare running back. So to get a timeshare running back with the fourth pick in the 18th round, I'm all over that all day, every day. That's better value than a lot of what's going around here. For the fifth pick was the New England Patriots defense. That's a good defense to pick up at this spot. Although I don't think that's going to be quite as good as it was in previous years because they may not always be playing from ahead. Then with the sixth pick in the 18th round, Tony Pollard, a great handcuff. And you had the seventh pick.
Yeah, so at this point, I've got to take two defenses and a kicker. So I grabbed my first defense here, Denver Broncos. I actually like the second defense. I picked a little bit better than them, but I knew if I wanted to get the Broncos, I had to get them here. One thing I'll say is you want to know your scoring system. And in this particular league, sacks are worth a full point, just like turnovers are. So I'm trying to get a defense that's going to get me a lot of sacks. And with Von Miller on one side, Bradley Chubb on the other, the Denver Broncos should be able to do that.
Right. They've always had a solid defense. As you said, the sacks are going to be there. And don't forget, two games they'll be playing against most likely either a backup or a rookie quarterback when they play the Chargers. So there could be some opportunity to feast on that. T. Higgins went in the eighth spot in the 18th round. The ninth spot, Chicago kicker Eddie Pinheiro. Then Traquan Smith. Raquel Armstead, great pick at the 11th spot in the 18th round. And finally, with the 12th pick in the 18th round, John Ross, the third, Cincinnati wide receiver. Thoughts on 18th round, Sean?
I do. I forgot to mention back around 17. I do really like the A.J. Dillon pick at the end. I think he's going to steal a lot more from Aaron Jones than people are currently projecting. I love the Tony Pollard pick in this round, as well as the Evans and your pick this round is probably my favorite in Zach Moss. But Pollard has proven he can fill in admirably for Zeke. Probably should have looked at getting him as my handcuff since I have Elliott, but I didn't have the roster spots to have six running backs, and I filled my fifth running back spot a long, long time ago. So,
right, yeah, and only two are going to count for each week, so you've got five.
Oh, and Raquel Armstead I thought is a nice pick, especially with the
Agreed.
trouble surrounding, not trouble, but bad blood maybe, Leonard Fournette in Jacksonville, whatever's going on there. If Fournette ends up not playing for them for whatever reason, Armstead would step in and be excellent value at this point.
I think handcuffs do have a little more potential this year than in other years because, assuming there's a season, there's a potential for a player to be coming off of a positive COVID test or be quarantined, and the handcuff is. There's just more likelihood for a handcuff to play in somebody's spot this year. Even without the trouble of Fournette or Ezekiel Elliott or whatever have you. Although Zeke is in a great spot that he's already had it and he's going to be clear. Round 19, pick 1, Joey Sly, Carolina place kicker. Pick 2, Brian Hill, Atlanta running back. Pick 3 in the 19th round, Indianapolis Colts defense. Pick 4, Brandon Bolden, running back for the Patriots. Pick 5, Jarrett Stidham, quarterback for the Patriots. Now, this draft occurred before they selected Cam. And you have the pick at 19-6.
So I grabbed my second defense here with the Chargers, and people are talking about, with Derwin James coming back and with Bosa on one side and Ingram on the other. And I really like that rookie that they traded up for to get in the draft, Murray. They could be one of the best defenses in the league. Plus, apparently, I love the Chargers because I've got tons of them on my team, so why not grab their defense too?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I can't argue with that pick. I mean, again, if you're going to look for strong edge rushers and sacks, and sacks come with fumbles and fumble returns for touchdowns too. So that's the kind of defense that can put up a big week for you and win you a week. At 1907, DeAndre Washington for Kansas City. 1908, Royce Freeman for Denver. I'm not a big fan of that pick. I mean, that's the RB3 for Denver. I don't think he's going to see the field. I took another place kicker here for a team that I think is going to score a lot. Young Hoku for Atlanta. Any thoughts on that? I know it's just a kicker, but
Yeah, he played pretty well for them last year. Probably the best kicker on the board at that point. So again, I just have a hard time getting excited about a kicker, any kicker.
yeah, we're just talking about our picks. It is what it is. 1910, Giovanni Bernard. 1911, Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. 1912, the final pick in the 19th round, New York Jets defense. Thoughts on round 19?
I mean, there are a lot of just wasted picks, in my opinion. Brian Hill might not even be the second running back in Atlanta. Brandon Bolden, I mean,
Right.
he's buried on the depth chart in New England, just absolutely buried. Royce Freeman is mediocre at best, and now he's even further down the depth chart. DeAndre Washington, again, is going to have a hard time seeing the field with him. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the picks that I did like was the final pick in round 19. I think the New York Jets defense has been underrated, and it had some really strong weeks last year. The Jets defense, they've been drafting a lot of top defensive players, and they're in a division now where Josh Allen is young, he's prone to mistakes. Cam Newton has to learn a whole new set of players, a whole new book in New England. So he's not going to walk in and be mistake free. And in Miami, they've got a rookie. So the Jets have 6 games this year that could potentially be turnover prone, in addition to the rest of their schedule. And they've already had a defense that's been capable of returning some for touchdowns. So I like that pick. Late in the draft, it's a strong defense to get this late, in my opinion. Round 20, Jake Elliott, place kicker, went first. Blake Jarwin, Dallas tight end, went with the second pick in the 20th round. I think that's a good pick. Jack Doyle, Indianapolis tight end, went with the third pick. That's another strong pick in round 20. And with the fourth pick in the 20th round, I took Alan Lazard, Green Bay Packer wide receiver. Sean, I love this guy. We've talked about him in other drafts. Aaron Rodgers has petitioned to get Alan Lazard on playing time in favor of the other guys that were ahead. Now, Green Bay did not go out and draft a big-name wide receiver. They did bring in Devin Funchess, but Devin Funchess has sort of fallen out of favor everywhere that he's gone. And Lazard has great hands. He had a great record in college. He's 6'5". He's the size of a tight end, and he's got great rapport with the quarterback. And as you said, they had Thanksgiving dinner together. So I think that bodes well for his chances to be potentially a wide receiver 2 for the Green Bay Packers that I picked up in the 20th round. Sean?
yeah, Lazard's one of those guys that you should not let go undrafted. If you're, at the end of your draft and you're looking for a flyer to take, he's as good as any, for the reasons you mentioned.
Another good tight end pick went with the 5th pick in the 20th round. TJ Hawkinson lasted this long. That's crazy. Ian Thomas went with the 6th pick. And Sean, at 20th round, pick 7, you took.
Just because of the format, I had to take a second kicker, so I took the guy from Tampa Bay.
Matt Gay.
Yeah.
Then after that, went the Chicago Bears defense, which is another great defense to get in the 20th round. Ryan Fitzpatrick went. I'm not sure I get that pick at the 9th pick in the 20th round. Tyrod Taylor went with the 10th pick in the 20th round. Mitch Trubisky, pick 11 in the 20th round, and Terry Bridgewater, pick 12 in the 20th round, which is, I think Terry Bridgewater is a great pick. TJ Hawkinson is a great pick. What do you think of round 20?
Yeah, there was a lot of good value in this round. Like you said, in addition to your pick of Lazard, I really like Doyle. Obviously Rivers has shown he likes to throw the tight end. Hawkinson was my he was he was my plan B. If I didn't get Gesicki, I would have loved to have Hawkinson as either second or third tight end. So I really love the value of him here in the 20th. And like you said about Teddy Bridgewater, I if the draft were happening today, I might even take him over Jimmy Garoppolo because he's got better receivers around him now. And I really like what the new coach that Carolina hired. So, I mean, that's one of the best values in the draft there is our Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of good tight ends actually fell really far in the draft because the top tight ends were going early. So some real value there. So the final team that Sean picked up, you got Ezekiel Elliott with your first pick, Austin Eckler, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Le'Veon Bell, Hunter Henry, Jarvis Landry, Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift, Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Burrow, Jimmy Garoppolo, Dallas Goedert, Michael Pittman Jr., Preston Williams, Greg Zuerlein, Mike Gesicki, the Denver Broncos defense, the Chargers defense, and Matt Gay. I'm sure you're pretty happy with your draft results.
Could be better, could be worse. I really like my running backs. All five of them, I think, have the opportunity to contribute to my lineup each and every week. But I did pay premium draft picks to get them. So
Right.
actually, the position that I'm the most worried about, you'd think on my team would be quarterback, but it's actually wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that there were more bench spots in this league because I didn't get a top quarterback or because I didn't get a top tight end, I felt I needed to get three of those. And I think because you're getting the best points each week, I think you have to get two kickers, you have to get two defenses. So that really limits how many backs and receivers you can draft on your team, at least in my opinion. I really would have liked to have the spot to get a sixth receiver because you're starting three of those guys every week. And, if one of them gets hurt, then you really don't have a whole lot backing them up.
Right, and Preston Williams is coming off of a big injury, and Michael Pittman Jr. is a rookie. So potentially that, your top three wide receivers then are Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and Jarvis Landry, which is a great top three. But as you said, if it could get thin pretty fast for you there. Still a great draft. I'll recap my team real quick. First pick, I took Derrick Henry, then Kenyon Drake, Zach Ertz, Robert Woods, Raheem Mostert, Darren Waller, Brandon Cooks, Daniel Jones, Matt Stafford, Marvin Jones Jr., CeeDee Lamb, Drew Lock, J.K. Dobbins, Henry Ruggs Jr., the Baltimore Ravens defense, the Buffalo Bills defense, Ka'imi Fairbairn, Zach Moss, Younghoe Koo, and Allen Lazard with the final pick. I did get 6 wide receivers. I'm a little worried about tight end because I only have the 2. I've got Ertz and Waller. If Ertz would get hurt or Waller gets hurt, then I'm relying on one tight end through the year. If both of them get hurt, I'm fielding an empty spot. I like my running backs. I think I'm solid there. And with 6 wide receivers, I didn't have necessarily the best draft at wide receiver, but I feel like with the 6 that I've got, there's so much upside to these guys that I'm going to be comfortably fielding 3 good ones each week. What do you think?
Yeah, I have to agree. Looking at your wide receiver core, there's no huge name studs there or anything, but like you said, they've all got good upside, and especially because you have 6, I think your wide receiver points are going to be some of the best in the league. I also like your 2 quarterbacks you got especially when you got them. Actually, all 3 of your quarterbacks when you got them. So I think you're gonna be really strong there. Your running backs are solid as well, especially with the late addition of J.K. Dobbins. Could really be a league winner for you, I think. Maybe even Zach Moss.
And I think one of the difference makers potentially on this team is two really solid, high talented defenses that have a lot of potential games against. Cincinnati, Baltimore is going to be playing against a rookie quarterback twice. Ben Roethlisberger's turnover prone, and then the Buffalo Bills are going to be playing against Cam Newton on a brand new team and a rookie quarterback in Miami and third year starter in Sam Darnold with the Jets, who hasn't really completed a full successful year yet. So hopefully I'll get some 25-point games out of those defenses that'll help me edge over the top. All in all, I'm happy with my draft. I think if I get tight end injuries, that's going to be what does this team in. But otherwise, I felt like I got pretty good value at all the positions. Robert Woods, I probably took a little early, but he's right there. And Dobbins, as you said, was an unbelievable steal in round 13. Any final thoughts on the best ball draft? I guess we'll report back during the year and let you guys know how we're scoring out.
Yeah, I actually, I don't know if we have, how we are on time, but actually after the draft, I went back and picked the quote hindsight team, and my hindsight team, like where I have to pick somebody different or like another guy I was thinking of that spot, I would have ended up with Cook in the first round, Julio Jones in the second, Fournette in the third, Thielen in the fourth, Ingram in the fifth, the tight end in the sixth. I would have taken, or I should have taken Chris Carson in the seventh, Tom Brady in the eighth, Gronkowski. Ninth would have been Matt Stafford. 10th, Emmanuel Sanders. 11th, Deontay Johnson. 12th round, my hindsight guy was J.K. Dobbins. Anthony Miller would have been my 13th round hindsight guy. 14 would have been Butker, the kicker. 15, Breida, running back. 16, the Rams defense. 17, Patriots defense. 18, Bridgewater, the quarterback. 19, Hopkinson, the tight end. And 20th would have been Prater, the kicker. My hindsight team.
Interesting. And now, when you guys are watching this and you're sort of thinking, how do I get ready for my draft in whatever league, whatever type of league it is, that this is the kind of thing that will get you a solid draft from top to bottom instead of just getting a solid draft in the first 4 to 6 rounds and kind of falling off a cliff after that.
Yeah, so every roster spot on your team is valuable. You want to have that roster spot filled with the best possible player or person at all times. So,
right, and as that draft is coming up, you have a minute to decide. So having gone through this process and having a list, scratching out the list as you go, having a draft board, all of those things are going to help you out. So we hope this series of videos has been a help to you and get you ready for your fantasy football league. Sean has been playing fantasy football for 30 years now, and you've won God knows how many leagues.
Yeah, that's how we came up with our with the name for our channel here. I've actually started playing in 1991, so I realized that this is my 30th year of fantasy football coming up.
And we've both had multiple championships, and we both had multiple leagues where we've had the most points for. And that's one of the few things you can control. We'll cover this more in another video. We'll break down some other players for you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Stay safe. Have a good one.